the Southern Fried Zombies. You know that show, The Walking Dead, that's like super deep about like human interaction and the apocalypse and characterization and deep metamorphosis about the human spirit in times of struggle with zombies? Yeah, this isn't that. But it's still a lot of fun. And I'm going to talk about why next on the Bloody Breakdown. Attack of the Southern Fried Zombies, originally formerly known as Kudzu Zombie, is a horror comedy that focuses on the fact that some herbicide plants go terribly wrong, and because of this herbicide testing that they're doing, it turns the whole town, or a good chunk of the town, into zombies because they're eating the meat pies that the animals who were eating the plants were eating. And it's a load of fun where basically that's the plot. You know, full disclosure, I'm a big fan of B horror pictures. I actually really enjoy them. Attack of Killer Clowns from Outer Space, Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, things like that. Thanksgiving with the killer turkeys, the Frosty the Snowman killer stuff. Point me in the direction. Zombievers. The thing about the zombie beavers, I was into that. I love those kind of movies. So full disclosure, I am slightly biased because I do give these kind of movies a little bit more space to be zany and fun. But in that same vein, even though that's the case, I have seen B-type horror movies or horror comedies that have been very bad for reasons I'm going to get into. And so I want to explain how Attack of the Southern Fried Zombies actually didn't fall into some of those things that I thought it would fall into that tend to turn me off when it comes to certain movies that are of this kind of genre of horror. It was actually really diverse, which I guess I should have known since it was happening in Charleston, Mississippi. And Charleston, Mississippi, like many parts of the South, actually have a large population of Black people. And what I liked about this film is that the film didn't shy away from that. It was actually a very diverse cast of people of color, Asian, Black, white, who came together to make this film in the sense of the main characters, the side characters, and the zombies. And it just made it a lot more fun and I think inclusive. There was some badass women in this film, which was really cool. Like the women characters, you know, were actually very badass. And sometimes with this kind of subgenre of horror where it's kind of B-movie and they're not taking themselves super seriously, some directors and certain, you know, scripts can rely more on showing a lot of boobage when it comes to, you know, cleavage and women just kind of getting naked for no reason at all because, oh my God, you know, creatures, and I need to get naked right now. That happens a lot in some of these films, and to me, that's one of the reasons that detracts from certain films. Not saying that, you should never have nudity or anything, but I feel like even in movies like this, it needs to make sense and it shouldn't be exploitative towards the women. Also, there were diversity of sexuality in the fact that there were lesbian women, and not like in that, once again, exploitative way where sometimes they show women making out because some dudes find that hot or whatever. It was like they just happened to be a couple and they also happened to be, you know, badass and wanting to fight zombies. And so that was really cool. So the women characters were actually very cool. They weren't one-dimensional. And like I said, sometimes what can fall into these tropes is that women can be one-dimensional and they're just there to show their boobs for no reason at all. And I like that Attack of the Southern Fried Zombies did not fall into that. If you like gory creature features that have really cool prosthetics and aesthetics and stuff, you will like this film because, you know, the zombies actually look really cool. And that's another aspect of it that I really enjoyed, was that the kills. You know, once again, another bias of mine, although I do love B horror movies, another bias of mine is the fact that I'm not super into gross films, in the sense of, you know, I tend to lean towards, you know, what's that in the dark that you can't see? There's a ghost here. The anticipation of a monster, the anticipation of what's in the dark, as not so much as, you know, show me everything, especially when it comes to the kills. And so sometimes certain films can lean, especially zombie features, can lean more into being on the gross side of really showing people get torn apart for like way more minutes than I think the camera should linger on it. And the great thing about Southern Fried Zombies is that it actually didn't do that. Now that doesn't mean there weren't some cool kills, because even I was watching like, oh, that's really cool. They just tore her arms off. That looked awesome. There were moments like that, but it didn't linger too long where you're like, okay, yeah, blood, guts. It's always good when there's balance of gory death. Yes. Another cool aspect of this film I thought was there were actually emotional stakes. I actually found myself caring about a lot of the characters. Like, they weren't like one-dimensional. They actually had some characterization to them. They had some wittiness. They weren't just like, you know, walking around just being ready to get eaten. And what that did for the plot actually really helped it. So when they made a joke, you wanted to laugh. When they were about to survive, you wanted to care that they survived. And when some of them died, you actually cared. I thought, wow, that's different. That's not always the case. That emotional stake of, you know, actually caring about these people's survival as opposed to just being some romp fest with, you know, creatures of the night. There's also a zombie clown. And I don't think you can go wrong with a zombie clown. Yeah, that's an aesthetic that I just love. I mean, I like clowns. I don't know about you, maybe I'm weird. I loved it, and I like clowns in my horror pictures. I like clowns and evil nuns in my horror features. So if you can throw that in there somehow, and this movie did it, why not? And the music was actually cool. It actually has a very cool theme song that's like Kudzu Zombie, Kudzu. That is not very good. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that. I didn't mean to throw that on you, me randomly singing, but it had a very cool theme song. They also had messaging behind it. Like, they, you know, gave a shout out to agricultural workers and agricultural, the agricultural industry and how it's so important in feeding people. And I'm like, wow, you wanted Charleston, Mississippi to rise up against the zombies, which is awesome when a film can like invigorate that as opposed to just kind of sitting there watching everyone die. You know, which sometimes we become so desensitized when we watch these films, even like the horror comedies where nothing resonates. And I don't think that's always a good thing. When you can have the balance that it's still fun, but death resonates, I think you've done something really awesome, which this movie definitely did. Negatives about it, not too many. I mean, honestly, they probably had a few more fire and explosion moments than they needed because of the fact that it was kind of very obvious that it wasn't real fire or real explosions. And when that happens too much, it can get distracting. So that's just one aspect of it. And honestly, I take bad computerized fire over, you know, bad characterization and a bad plot any day. So that's fine. And also there were a few moments where the camera lingered a little longer than it needed to. Not on the gory kills, but like just on some of the like dialogue where I was just like, okay, that scene ended. Why are we still here? Because I actually really enjoyed it, and I think you will really enjoy this film as well. So should you give Attack of the Southern Fried Zombies a stab? You should totally give this movie a stab. A stab, let your other friends stab it because it's on video, on demand, and streaming. Watch this film with friends and family and whatnot like that, because it's going to be a good quality time. Or watch it by yourself, whatever you choose to do, but you should give this movie a stab because it's actually a lot of fun, and it really just kind of is a pleasant surprise of what this movie is about. I really dug it, so I think you will dig it too. So you should give this movie a stab. Did you watch Southern Fried Zombies? If you did and you want to let me know what you thought about it, comment down below and let me know what you thought. Also, give me some more B-movie recommendations because I love them, and maybe I'm pretty sure I've seen all of them that I can see, but if there's some really good ones that kind of meet my criteria that you think I'd like, let me know down below. Also, be sure to subscribe, and so you are the first person to know about when I post my videos and reviews. And thanks for watching. Let's get creepy together.